Hey, what's up, everybody? Listen. We got an awesome show for you today, so you know what to do. Hit like, hit subscribe, turn on your notifications, and let's get after it. Hi, hello, and welcome to your favorite average to good podcast. Call it what you want. I'm Jimmy Conrad, alongside Charlie Davies and Tony Meola, and we are excited. We have a great show for you today. Guys, listen, I don't know if anybody told you, but we have another good to great guest joining us today. This one is Benha Cremaschi, and I'm very excited to talk with him. But we're going to tease it a little bit because we got some other stuff to talk about first. We got some Americans abroad. And the one name that I want to talk about, he's a JC, Chuck. Right?
Oh, I know where we're going with this.
Listen, I'm a JC. I've got some time for some other JCs. Johnny Cardoso got to play 90 minutes for Atletico Madrid in their big win in the Copa del Rey 1-0. Antoine Griezmann scored a pretty sick free kick to win that one for them against Deportivo La Coruña. We got some other
Deportivo
La Coruña. I'm not rolling my R's like I want to. Tones, I don't know where you are, but it looks like a really nice hotel. Maybe it's one of Chuck.
Tony's always in the swankiest hotels, you know?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Everyone believes you. Yeah.
So this JC, Johnny Cardoso, he's got 12 games between now and the March window. Do you think that's enough time for him to potentially do enough to maybe be considered for the March camp? Because that's pretty much now or never, do or die for some of these guys, including Johnny Cardoso.
Yeah, I would think so, right? I mean, we've been talking about Johnny Cardoso and like, how are we eliminating a guy out of the national team that's playing at Atleti, right? And of course, he had his injury problems and all of that at the beginning of the season. He started, and then he gets injured right away. And but look, they've made a decision to get rid of a guy in the middle of the field in Conor Gallagher. It's
that's a good sign, right? That's a really good sign. Obviously,
leaning towards that they're building this in the middle of the field around him, and you would think that Cholo Simeone and bringing him in knew exactly what they were getting. He had been in the league before. He had success in the league, so they knew the player they were getting. They knew he could be successful in this league. The one thing I will say that stuck out to me in this game, and I want to see if it's this game or if it's a trend, is how high up the field Johnny Cardoso found himself in so many different positions. Ball went wide, he's at the top of the box. Ball in the box, he's trying to find space. He actually threaded a couple balls, tried to squeeze a couple balls into the box. Like, he was just more advanced. When we think about Johnny, Chuck, I think we have this image that maybe he's a little deeper lying player. So he had it. That's why I don't know if it was the role for the day or if it's his role in the team, and time will tell. But I want to explore that a little bit for sure.
Yeah, to build off of that, Tony, when I've seen him at his best with Real Betis in La Liga last year, he was playing as an 8 and higher up the pitch. And so he wasn't the 6. He wasn't just sitting there where we've seen him with the national team when he's played. He's been like a player who's dropping deep to get on the ball and then trying to make the game, and he's had some big mistakes. So for me, he's got to be a little bit higher up the pitch. He's the guy that plays in between a 6 and a 10. That's probably where he excels. Again, with the national team, it hasn't clicked yet. When he's played in La Liga, it seems that he's finding a rhythm. Maybe with the Atletico Madrid injuries have hampered his progress a little bit. But in that team, in the Copa del Rey, he played with Julian Alvarez, Griezmann, Baena, Llorente, and Simeone. That was the players around him, and he settled in pretty well. Again, it's Deportivo de La Coruña. It's not the Deportivo that we've seen, 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
This is a Deportivo that's 5th in La Liga 2. So,
but it's also, in fairness, it's a cup competition, right? So it's kind of a do or die. Like, they had their backs against the wall. It's away from home. So it still wasn't just like a throwaway game or friendly.
You're not playing against Barca or Villarreal or Real.
Right.
But again, your question is, does he have enough time to get into the camp? He does have enough time. But again, it's consistency, playing at a high level. And I think Pochettino will be looking at his performance and say, okay, he deserves a chance in the camp to see where he is.
Yeah, I think what's interesting is when I look at their next 12 games that I had mentioned, nobody really stands out. They're 2 Champions League games. Galatasaray away from home. That's a tough one, of course. And then at home to Bodo Glimt. I'm a big fan of Bodo Glimt, but conversation for another time. Outside of that, they're playing Alaves, Mallorca, Levante, his former club, Betis, But the one game right before the March window, which I'm sure the roster will already be decided at that point, but the last game before that March window opens is against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. So I'm hopeful that he gets a good run, does well, and obviously, as we continue to say here, and I'm going to continue to steal what Big Tones has been saying throughout the last month or two, we want to give Mauricio Pochettino as many headaches as possible for player selection. And if he's healthy and playing for Atletico Madrid, I still can't wrap my head around that we have an American playing for Atletico Madrid. That's my favorite Spanish club. I don't know if everybody knows that. And people, why not Barcelona? Why not Real Madrid? Listen, I wasn't good enough to play for Real Madrid or Barcelona, but there's a part of me that thinks that I could have got in there and put in some tackles for a Diego Simeone team as a center back in the day. You guys could laugh and roll your eyes and say, no, you definitely were not good enough for Atletico Madrid either. You might
anybody can dream, right? Tones like,
oh yeah,
Thank you. I'll take that. I'll take the dream of maybe one day playing for Atletico Madrid. But I'm excited that we have a player there. All right, some other results, other notable performances for Americans. Jonathan Gomez, the American, subbed on for Albacete. And their 3-2 win over Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey, that is an unbelievable win and very exciting. And that's why the cup competitions matter. So continue to promote the U.S. Open Cup, everybody. It's a big competition here in the States. Pellegrino Matarazzo led Real Sociedad to a penalty shootout win versus Osasuna. They were down 2-0 in that game, and they ended up coming back and getting the 2-2
He's done a good job so far.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah,
he's done a good feisty, job. They look good.
Good start.
Tim Weah subbed on in a 9-0 Coup de France win versus Bayou. I think Chuck could still go out there and maybe score against Bayou. 9-0 win for Marseille. That's unbelievable. And Austin Trusty played the full 90 in a 1-0 win for Celtic versus Falkirk. Celtic have yet to lose since Martin O'Neill's taken back over for Wilfred Nancy. Oh, man. That's not a fun story, all things considered. All right, there was also another game we needed to discuss. Milan dropped some points against Fiorentina resident AC Milan fan Tony Meola. Christian Pulisic missed a couple chances in that one. That one ended 1-1. Maxi Allegri, his manager, said this: ifs and buts get you nowhere. What if Pulisic had scored 3 goals in Florence? He didn't. He had scored before. Maybe he'll score again tomorrow. We have to focus on our performances and improve our mental focus. We're in the second half of the season, and there's no more time to make up for mistakes. Maxi Allegri. Thoughts on Milan, and do they have it? They're currently second in Serie A. Do you think they have a legitimate chance to crack on and really compete for the title?
Yeah, they do. I mean, just in that Fiorentina game, the one thing that sticks out is the 2 breakaways for Christian, right? And it seemed like the kind of year where everything he touched ended up in the back of the net. He takes an extra touch on one, tries to go around the goalkeeper, De Gea, and hits side netting, and then De Gea makes a save. I suppose you can, I don't know, goal scorers, attacking players, we all know they're judged on scoring goals. Charlie'd know better than any of us would, right? There's something to be said about getting in those positions and then the finishing play. Because if you look at the 2 plays, like the play overall, like if you cut the video right when just before he's about to shoot or get saved, like you're like, oh, what a great play, and you think he's going to score there. And for Milan, it was important. There's no doubt. I like the fact that Allegri is sort of sticking up here in my eyes for Christian. I mean, he's been great for them the entire season. Like, I love that part of it. But if you're Christian, you saw you don't have to ask the reaction. You saw, Chuck, the reaction from him. He was pretty upset on both of those plays. And one, he's slamming his hands on the ground. He knows it needs to end up in the back of the net. Now, the one he saves, I don't want to take any credit away from De Gea because there's still a goalkeeper in there that sometimes we forget when guys have a breakaway, like it should end up in the back of the net. But I think Christian Pulisic probably thinks he should have came out of that game with 2 goals.
Now, Chuck, I want to tee you up for this because they just signed Nicholas Füllkrug from West Ham, right? So a proper number 9, a good hold-up play. And both of these breakaways, even though they were in the box so that the space isn't as big as a proper breakaway, and when I think we visualize that, Füllkrug did a really nice job of holding up the ball and then like a little cheeky back heel, which sprung Christian to get in behind. I ask you this, and I'm teeing you up this way because I want to know how important you think that is to Christian's success with Milan moving forward and Milan overall to have a number 9, because they've been playing with Leao and Pulisic as kind of the out-and-out strikers, and one of them would try to stay high to create the depth, and the other one would drop in underneath.
And they're just basically making runs off each
other. Exactly right. But now with Füllkrug, I feel like they have someone to work off of, and I wanted to get your number 9 perspective on how important that is, not only for Füllkrug but for the team and Christian.
Well, just in terms of his player profile, you have someone who is not making those runs in the channel for the most part. They are always central. It's much easier to play off someone where you know they're the player who's going to hold up play, who's going to maybe check and pull center backs out of position for you to run in behind. It's harder to detect the runs of a Christian Pulisic and a Leao if you have somebody who's central. So I think it's going to be a lot easier. There'll be more opportunities for Christian when you have someone that can, whether it's balls in the air, he can flick it on, he can lay it off, and you can run off of him. But it's just a little bit easier when you have that player who's kind of their job to keep the ball.
Right. No. And Tones, I actually want you to chime in on this too. I mean, how vital do you think Füllkrug will be to the team just for this reason in terms of just having a different dynamic than they've had so far this season?
Yeah, there was no reference point, right? And unfortunately today, they play Como today, so they have an opportunity in Como. They've been really good on the road. Milan, by the way, 1 loss on the season. It's been the 7 draws that have been difficult, but Füllkrug's not available today. So we are going to see Leao and Pulisic. So we're going to see Pulisic play in the highest part of the field again with that relationship. It's been really strange the way the season has gone with regards to Christian out, Leao in, Leao out, Christian in. Now Füllkrug comes out. There was no Leao. But I like the idea you saw in those 2 plays, Jimmy, especially the one with I don't know if you call it a back heel. It's not a flick. I guess it's a rollback, whatever you want to call it, to Füllkrug. Yeah. He was looking for him on the play. Like, he was dribbling at him, looking for that reference for someone to hold that he can run off. And that's what Charlie's talking about, and I think what he's going to do is occupy the two center backs. I actually texted with Jurgen Klinsmann a week or so ago about Füllkrug in Serie A. Right, no, and I wanted to ask him about him, and he said he's going to be a handful in the league for defenders because that's what he is, a handful. A different profile of a number 9. Like, Charlie, wouldn't you call him a little bit more of an old school number 9, right? Back to goal, get in the box, stay between the goal posts, that kind of number 9 where Leao, you were different, right? You would run in the channels. I don't know, Jimmy, from your standpoint, which one you like defending more. I would think the guy who sticks around in the same area is probably more fun, but then you probably know you have a battle on your hands the whole time, right? Like, you're going to have a fight with the guy.
But Jimmy, you couldn't stand a center back being pinned down with a super strong center forward where a ball is getting played to his feet, and then you have people running off of him. Do I stay with here? Do I lean this way? Yeah. Then he rolls me. So just in that play against Fiorentina, he plays into Füllkrug and then continues a run to get it back. Which is really tough to track.
It is. It's tough to track for the 6s, right? The midfielders. And it's also because you have to be true to the number 9, right? You have to still make sure you're close enough so that they can't turn and do what they want to do. So yeah, it proves to be difficult, but you need that movement. And so if Leao and Pulisic are making those types of movements off of Füllkrug, it just makes them more dynamic, I would say, going forward and gives them different options. But yeah, I'm curious to see how they play today without him. Como, that game's on Paramount Plus for everybody. And it should be a fun one to watch. Como's good. Cesc Fabregas is the coach for those that don't know. I think he's the next big manager that's going to leave Serie A, maybe go to a bigger club, maybe stay in Serie A. But, it should be a good game to watch. So I highly suggest everybody does it. Game kicks off at 2:45 p.m. Eastern on Paramount Plus. Coverage starts at 2 p.m. Now, before we get into our special guest, our good to great guest, Ben-Ha Cremaschi, I do want to bring up some Americans abroad. In Germany, there's some Bundesliga action going on. And fresh off of beating Augsburg 4-0, Joe Scally getting a goal in that one. They lost. They were down 4-0 at half to Hoffenheim. Now, Cole Campbell made the move from Borussia Dortmund to Hoffenheim. He's got a bit of an injury, so he didn't start. One of our younger players we're keeping an eye on. But Joe Scally did make a start, and Bild is one of the publications in Germany. They gave him the lowest rating you possibly can. Joe Scally didn't have a good game, but that's pretty much across the board for Mönchengladbach. I don't know which version of this team we're going to get week in and week out, and I think that's something that their coach, Eugene Polanski, has to make a decision on. Gio Reyna did not get off the bench here. Another concern. I would say that's kind of the bad news of the Bundesliga side. The good news is Kevin Paredes made his first Bundesliga appearance last weekend after 8 months, sidelined by an ankle injury, and was another a late substitute in their 2-1 win versus James Sands and St. Pauli. 8 months, this kid has been dealing with this ankle injury, and now he's working his way back. And I just wanted to give him a little bit of love because we know that he's super talented and has a bright future. So long may he stay healthy. All right, we're going to take our first break. Call what you want. When we come back, Ben-Ha Cremaschi is going to be joining us to talk all things Ben-Ha. So keep it right here.
The clock never stops. Relive the greatest moments with uninterrupted highlights and more.
It's Gareth Bale! Ronaldo! Wonderful goal!
On the UEFA Champions League channel. Streaming free.
All right, welcome back into the show. I'm Conrad Dino alongside Chuck, Chase, and Chuck and Big Tones. And guys, I'm excited to have our guest coming on. He won the Golden Boot at the FIFA U20 World Cup last fall. The only other American to do that at the U20 level was Eddie Johnson back in 2003. Ben-Ha Cremaschi is joining us straight from Parma, his club in Italy. Ben-Ha, great to see you as always. How are you living, man? How are things?
What's up? What's up? Good. Everything's good. Comfortable here. It's a little too cold for me, Miami guy, so trying to get used to the weather over here, but it's been good.
Awesome. Okay, so we obviously wanted to have you on, get a temperature check, see how you're doing, the transition from Miami to Italy, and seeing how that journey is going for you. But first and foremost, we want to announce that you have been named as U.S. Soccer's 2025 Young Male Player of the Year. Ben-Ha Cremaschi, congratulations. Live on the show.
Congratulations, Ben.
The platform is yours. The mic is yours. Who would you like to thank for being named as the Young Male Player of the Year? Ben-Ha, take it away.
No, I mean everyone that's helped me throughout this year. You know, even starting from the people I enter Miami to my national team teammates and coaches and staff to family and even the people here at Parma, which I was here for a little bit before I left off to the U20 World Cup, and I feel like they prepared me well in a short time. So just thankful to everyone, and honestly mostly to my family. Obviously they've been here with me and have gone everywhere I go. So just their support, their love, and everything that comes with it is obviously something amazing for me. It's an amazing accomplishment, but it also speaks about the people that are around me, that surround me, and keep me in place to I don't know, to get accomplishments like this and keep growing as a player.
Wow, amazing. Congratulations. You're on a list with a pretty good group of guys. So hopefully this is just the beginning of what looks like is going to be a great career for you, Ben, and congratulations again. How do you sum up for Ben Cremaschi the 2025? When you look back on 2025, where did you get better? Where did you grow the most?
Yeah, 2025 was a good year. It was weird, honestly, with a lot of ups and downs. Starting off in Miami, obviously, had a great time there, but it got to a point where I felt like I needed change. I needed to cross the pond and try something new, and new experience, a new challenge, and that's what I did. It was hard to get over here, but we were able to do it, and it's been great. Obviously, it's been good, but challenging as well. And still fighting for what I want, and I'm where I need to be, but I still have a long way to go where I really want to be. So, just the 2025 year was just a big step forward in my career. Obviously, a lot of good things, a lot of things to learn from, and another thing, I feel like that's what creates a character. That's what creates a player. You know, trying to be in a spot where you're not comfortable with, where everything is new, where you're learning, where you're growing, where things sometimes don't go your way, and and you still need to go in every morning and show that you deserve to be there. So, 2025, honestly, from the start of my career, was probably one of the years where I most learned, not only as a professional, as a soccer player, but just a little bit of everything. Family, living away from Miami, from my home, to learning that when things don't go your way, you still gotta keep your head up and get to work. And if you don't continue, if you don't do that, if you don't put in the work, then you're just betting against yourself. So, I think obviously great year. Happy to win this trophy. It's means a lot to me. It's huge for me because being with those guys at the U20, those were my guys. I died for those guys. So, honestly, this trophy is more about them than it is about me, because they helped me find myself, let me be myself, let me lead them, and take responsibility of being a captain of a very important team, and putting myself to the side. And in that tournament, I felt like we did a really good job, showing what type of soccer we want to play. So nothing super happy about the team performance. I feel like we fell short. We fell short to the team that ended up winning everything. But, I know that we left sad, because we knew that we had a lot more.
You were there. You were right there.
Yeah, we had a lot more to give, and we knew that was probably one of the most important games in the tournament, beating Morocco, because we knew how tough they were. But we grow, and hopefully in the future, with the national team, we could learn from even a single game in a U20. We could learn and make it go our way next time.
Ben, congrats on everything thus far. And I've watched you throughout the years. I mean, Javi Morales, my guy, was telling me, hey, there's this young kid, you got to check him out. And next thing you know, you have Tata, you have Mascherano, but now you have Carlos Cuesta. So what I love about you is that you're pushing the envelope. You're not settling, right? So now you're in a new place, a new environment, new atmosphere. You might even say the expectations are a little bit different. The demands are a little bit different. Can you explain what 2026 is going to look like, and kind of just this season overall for you? Was it more difficult than you thought in terms of this, transition from MLS? And I know the demands playing with Messi and obviously Busquets and Alba and Suarez and so forth, but now in Europe, different language, different league, different coach. How has that transition been for you?
No, it's been good, honestly. Here at Parma, the people have been amazing. My teammates, the people at the club, the people in the city have been very welcoming. So in that side, everything has been pretty smooth. And obviously inside the field, when we talk about soccer, honestly, it's been pretty good as well. Obviously, at the beginning, you have your struggles, and you're trying to get used to the pace and used to the rhythm of the game. But I feel like I've caught on pretty well. Obviously, tactically, you learn a lot. It is obviously a lot more demanding, and here they punish you in 2 seconds. But yeah, I've felt pretty good. My teammates have done an amazing job with me to help me out in any way they possibly can. So, the transition, obviously, it's not easy. Going from MLS to Italian to the Italian league. But I'm happy with how I'm doing. Obviously, I need to keep going, keep showing that I want to be someone that gets minutes here, that deserves time inside the field. So, we're still working for that. We're still working hard, and I know for a fact that I won't take my my foot off the gas for a single second.
All right. So for everybody that might not be aware, Parma are currently 14th in the table, coming off of a 0-0 draw against Napoli and take on Genoa in their next game. Genoa currently 3 points behind Parma in the table. So that's going to be a big one, Ben Ha. Now, I want to get back to the award because whoever won it got to provide a $10,000 donation toward a charity of your choice. And you chose the Foundation for Angelman Syndrome Therapeutics. So I want to ask you about that a little bit. The acronym is FAST, and I know that your cousin has Angelman syndrome. Tell us a little bit about it so we can educate everybody out there.
Yeah, so you might make me cry.
Take your time, bud.
Yeah, take your time.
No, I mean, this is what these awards are for, I have a cousin with Angelman syndrome. It's a rare syndrome, and I think it's obviously hard, from my uncle, aunt, with issues, with the syndrome, and obviously when I knew that I got nominated for this award, and I saw that, and they told me that if I won it, that there was going to be a donation to a charity of my choice. He's obviously the first person that I thought of, because of things that my uncle and aunt go through, and obviously I know about it. My parents tell me about it, and just being able to with doing the thing that I love, playing this sport, just something so simple. I could help my family out. It's just bigger than the award, and whoever is taking care of the donation, I want to thank them. Obviously, thank them for giving me this opportunity to with my accomplishments, help my family out. My cousin, he's the happiest kid in the world, and he makes us happy, even though there's times that are hard. We learn a lot from those type of kids,
Yeah, what a great thing, man. And just think about it. Your love for the game is allowing you to help in other areas of life, and good for you, man. Proud of you. That's we all are. That's really good. You can help. No doubt. And by the way, thanks for sharing that story. Look, we all have the stories, right? We all go through all of this stuff. So to open it up for you is that's pretty brave of you. So thank you for doing that. Let's shift gears just a little bit now. You and I have chatted a couple times over the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 months or so. When you've made now this transition, you've settled in a little bit, you got this award under your belt, and we still think there's so much more in the tank for you. Where for you is sort of the next immediate steps to get to, you talked about earlier, getting to the next level, right? Getting to you're not where you want to be, certainly not at your age, but what are the next steps for you?
No, obviously, I want to stay here in Europe. I want to play, get the minutes that I want here at this club. I feel like it's a very good club to start, to make that first step. And that's the goal. That's the goal, to get as many minutes possible in this year, in these next few months, until the next season starts. And nothing hopefully happens. I know that I could do it. I know I have a lot more in the tank, and it's just a moment of waiting for my opportunity. And whenever the opportunity presents itself, I know that I won't hold back. But yeah, I know that it's not easy. It's hard to stay in Europe and play in Europe, because it's the highest level possible right now. So obviously, with these next few months, I just got to keep working hard, try to get minutes, and wait for that opportunity. And how I said, I won't let that opportunity pass.
Benha, one, I want to again thank you for everything that you shared, and you continue to be a role model for all the young kids. My son looks up to you. I got twin boys. I'm like, we love Benha. So I love that you are just a great person and a great role model, and I know you have a long, healthy, and exciting future ahead of you. But I'd love if you could, for everyone listening and watching, if you could break down the differences between MLS right now and Parma, because you're 20 years old, you're taking the right steps. It feels like you're going about this the right way, and you got to be patient. But talk about the difference in training. You said the speed of play, the adjustment, how much faster it is, and you make a mistake, you get punished right away. Break that down for us. What are some examples of that? And then, just in terms of your development, you're working every day. You got 13 minutes against Roma in Roma, right? That's an incredible experience. But, 1 minute here, 1 minute there, 4 minutes there. What's that moment for you when you're getting 60 minutes for your first start? What is it going to take? How far are you to getting that opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I feel close. I feel like I'm playing at the right level. It's just a matter of when, I feel like I'm at a good level, and I feel like in any moment I could be given the opportunity, and I need to be ready for it. And there's not more to it, but comparing a little bit MLS to here, Serie A or Parma, obviously speed of play and intensity of how sharp things need to be, because as soon as you make a mistake, you could be punished because of the quality of the players. I don't think the MLS is far from the quality of the players. I think MLS has amazing quality and amazing players. And obviously, Serie A is a very tactical league, where the games don't break down. They don't open up in any given moment of the game. It's 90 minutes of a close game. You rarely see a lot of high scoring games here in Serie A. Eventually, obviously, when a big team plays maybe a smaller team, you see it a little more. But I don't know, maybe in the MLS, the last 10, 15 minutes, players get tired, the game opens up a little, it becomes a little transitional, and here that doesn't happen. It's
Yeah.
if you play, for example, us yesterday, we played Napoli, and they're an amazing team. And the game, not for 1 second, was a little bit open, and we came out with an amazing point. So it's just 90 minutes of focus, of doing whatever possible to get the result, and the games just don't open up. So that's something that I really see, a very big difference that I see from MLS to Serie.
All right, we want to appreciate or thank you for your time, Ben Hahn, for Parma and U.S. Soccer for giving this opportunity to give you the award. And then to Henkel, who were the sponsor that donated $10,000 on behalf of your cousin and Fast. So very cool of Henkel to do that.
Well done.
Now we have a tradition here where we want to get your best jersey swap story. And I think we're all maybe in the back of our minds going, well, you played with Leo Messi. Does it count if you switch with a teammate?
No, it doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Okay, fine. So a quick story on that really quick while I think about Leo Messi. I had an opportunity to be David Beckham's teammate in an MLS All-Star game. And at that point, he was making like $1 gajillion and his teammates were making like 50 grand a year, right? So he was making in 1 minute. And he was making in 1 minute what those guys were making in a year. And I thought, man, that feels a little unfair. And so when I go there, though, and I spend time with him for 4 or 5 days straight, that guy earns every single dollar. He has to be on at all times. He's got to smell good. He's got to look good. He's got to play good. I mean, he's got to be on. And I wondered if you saw a little bit of that when you got to spend time with Leo Messi and the other guys at Inter Miami. And then eventually you can get to your jersey swap story. But I kind of wanted to get your perspective on.
You want to know how Messi smelled?
No, I don't want to smell.
You want to know what cologne he uses or what?
Hey, can I say for a moment, David Beckham smelled great. I'm just going to throw it out there. The guy smelled great at all times. But, yeah, like, what is it like to – I mean, that guy is – there's celebrities and then there's Leo Messi. And I kind of wanted to get like what is that like to walk around with that guy?
Yeah, of course. I mean, David Beckham, great guy, amazing guy to be around, to learn from, and also Leo Messi and everyone that was there. You know, their life is so much different from just a normal professional soccer player. You know, Leo Messi's, how you said, he's a step above being famous and nothing being around him. You really feel that going to another stadium and feeling at home and just their presence in the locker room and even when he walks into a room or goes out for training or when he's training, you know, it's just being around those guys is a unique experience because you don't experience it as a professional soccer player. You experience it just when you're playing with this guy. So
did it ever feel normal? Did it ever feel normal, or every time you came and you went, damn, I'm playing with Messi today?
At a point in your life, you kind of normalize it, but sometimes you take a small step back and you're like, what am I doing here? You know, but yeah, it was a crazy experience, unique experience, and nothing, something I won't ever forget. And then going to the jersey swap, definitely the best jersey swap that I've had was probably with Dybala. Right now,
hey, good shot.
In Rome.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It was
Okay.
Yeah, it was. Actually, I gave him my debut jersey, like, no problem. So he has my debut jersey. Probably has no idea that's my debut jersey. So he has that, but I have his, and I know Paulo was a player that I always looked up to, grew up watching. Him and Pogba in his time in Juventus were definitely my all-time favorite. So just being able to talk to him 2 seconds in the field and ask him for his jersey was amazing. It was amazing. I also sent a message before to someone that knows him to see if I could get the jersey. And so yeah, that was I cheated a little bit. But,
I love that.
But it was
Yeah,
good.
you wanted to secure it. You wanted to make sure
it.
it was secure. I like that. You know, from one Argentinian to another, you're like, hey, let's do this.
That's
So-
great.
Yeah.
Great.
Good
I
for
love
you,
it.
man.
Well, Benha, thank you so much for your time. Continued
Yeah, man.
success. Congratulations on the award. And obviously, we'll be pulling for you to have even more success with Parma and the national team moving forward. Benha Cremaschi, everybody.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me.
That was awesome.
Keep going, bro.
Yeah, keep being you.
Of course.
That's what's up.
Great
All right,
stuff.
we're going to take our last break of Call What You Want. When we come back, we're going to get into some MLS news because, man, there's a lot of transfers and coaching changes and a whole bunch of stuff, so it should be a lot of fun. Don't go anywhere.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus comes out swinging. The highlight machine collides with the Liverpool Phenom, and the Hall of Famer returns to take on the Bantamweight champion. UFC 320 24, Saturday, January 24th, only on Paramount Plus.
All right, welcome back into the show. I'm Jimmy alongside Charlie and Tony, and let's do a little debrief. How was the interview from your perspective? Chuck, what do you say? Awesome.
What a good kid.
Very good kid.
I'm
pulling for him. I was a fan already, but like, when you hear and you get, the vulnerability, of course, and I love that he opened up and demonstrated how much that meant to him and his family. And that you just start pulling for him a little bit more. Now I'm going to watch him Parma with like clear eyes, like go on Cremaschi.
I was going to give him some stick because I was going to say, you got golden boot at the U20 World Cup. I didn't know he was a goal scorer, because he's more that number 8, in between the lines. He's a tough tackler. You could say he's just as good, as breaking up plays as he is as starting plays and getting forward. But my man scored 5 goals, and he looked sharp, dangerous throughout that U20 World Cup. But ultimately, I was gonna ask some of those low moments when you're in Europe. He's 20 years old. You're working your butt off, but you don't see the minutes necessarily equate to what you feel you deserve or what you've earned, and so it's like developing the mentality of just fighting through it no matter what. There's going to be ups and downs and the minutes might not come, but ultimately you're building yourself up to be that much better of a professional because of the resilience that you develop and to stick with it, never give up, which he clearly isn't. He said he wants to be in Europe for the long run. So I think that's what stands out to me.
Yeah, he's got a good mentality. Yeah. Now, Tones, you mentioned the list, right? Let's just go through the list of the last 10 winners. Back in 2016, you had Christian Pulisic, then Sargent, Alex Mendez, Serginho Dest, Gio Reyna, Ricardo Pepi, Yunus Musa, Kevin Paredes, and then last year was Tanner Tessman. That is a pretty significant list, and so he's with some big names there.
5 of 9 in a World Cup, right?
Yeah. I was just to count. Probably beat me to it, but yeah. So. Yeah, really impressive. I do want to go back to just 2 words you used, Charlie, when you were just describing deserved and earned, right? The minutes you deserve, the minutes it sounds like he's in that I need to earn this, right? Like he's a very cerebral, you can tell him that. So that's like the 3rd or 4th time we've interviewed him across the channels. I think I had him a couple times on Morning Footy. And just talking to him, like he kind of, you can tell he gets it. Right? Like he understands what he's doing, where he's at. It's going to be difficult. It's not going to be easy. Yeah, I'm a good player, but I need to come here and earn my time and my minutes, and I will in the end. I believe in myself. I think he said at one point, banking on yourself or betting on yourself. I don't remember which term but I like his mentality, man. And it does get easier to root for guys when you chat with them and you chat offline with them a little bit. And hopefully the viewers will find that as well, and they'll find another kid to root for, because that was pretty impressive. I know that the personal stuff, that gets to you sometimes, and we all walk in different paths and have to deal with all this stuff. But he's and that he'll one day sit back and go, man, as much as he teared up about it, he'll be able to go, Jimmy, like, man, I just did something really good. Like, this game I love, this is like really good. But I didn't know, like Charlie, that he had the goal scoring in him, like we saw at the Youth World Cup. And it was literally from game 1, from minute number 1. And it's good to see, man. I think he's going to make his way. I like he's strong. He's physical. He's got all those. He very much is he, I'm trying to think of a comp. Is he growing into a Tanner Tessman type player?
No, I think he's a little bit further up the pitch.
More attack minded. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he's more of a.
Well, we've seen Tessman get high recently too, though, right?
Yeah,
he's also played as center back too, right?
Yeah.
So who?
I don't want to say he's more. I don't want to say he's more athletic than a Tanner Tessman, but there's just a different. There's a different part of it, element to his game that I think Tessman doesn't have.
Yeah.
So
I think my favorite part. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a like for like. Yeah, it is a little bit. I wonder if he could. Maybe we should get him back on the show and see what he would say. But
would you say he's like a
what's his favorite position?
Like a Stu Holden, Sasha Kljestan type mold?
Sasha Kleshin's a good one. Yeah, I was thinking of the team, the current guys, but yeah, as far as a earlier comp, that's probably a good one.
His passing of the ball, though, exquisite. Not to say that Ben Ha doesn't have that, but I feel like that's not what I think about with Ben Ha. That's the immediate thing I think of with Sasha Kleshin is his passing. With Ben Ha, I don't think that the same way. I feel like he feels more box to box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a big conversation.
But Tillman, different than Weston, maybe a Tillman, like growing into a Tillman type player. Because not Weston, I don't think.
Not as technically gifted as Tillman.
Yeah,
I think Ben. I think he's a little. I think his passing ability is a little bit better than we might be giving him credit for. Because that's how that was his sort of his table coming up. Was he was a good passer of the ball coming through the youth system.
I guess
we're going to see.
His dribbling isn't like Tillman's. You know what I'm saying? Like on the ball. If you're 1v1, I think Tillman is a little bit more advanced in that respect.
Yeah.
By the way, I love that in his jersey swap story, he actually, I think for the first time ever, got way ahead of it and texted Dybala's friend to make sure that, hey, can I?
Yeah, that's a first. That is a first.
That is a first here on the show. Absolutely love that. Also, we want to give a shout out to Chris Richards, who also got named, got an award as the male player of the year. Here's his 2025 in review. 46 appearances for Crystal Palace in all competitions, close to 4,000 minutes played, which is the 5th most on the club or in the club. They won the FA Cup. They won the Community Shield, Crystal Palace's first major title. 12 appearances for the U.S. over the calendar year, 1,000 minutes played. That's 4th most on the team. And he led the U.S. to the Gold Cup final, scoring 2 goals along the way. Made some good defensive plays as well. And really, for me, the Gold Cup helped him emerge, I believe, as probably the likely choice to be captain in the World Cup. Maybe likely is too strong, but I think he's in the conversation for sure to be in that. So congratulations to Chris Richards and a shout out to a center back. Got plenty of time for the center backs. All right, so there's a lot of moves happening in MLS right now. We're going to start with 10. There's been 10 new coaching hires. Entering into this season. Cameron Knowles is the latest for Minnesota United as Eric Ramsey left to go to West Brom. So we have Cam Knowles with Minnesota. Tata Martino coming back for a second stint with Atlanta United. They're going to need every single piece of his talent as a coach as possible to kind of turn around what happened last year. Marko Mitrovic takes over the New England Revolution. Donadel takes over Montreal. Yohan Dame takes over St. Louis City. Then we have Rafael Vicky, who comes in for SKC. Michael Bradley taking over the Red Bulls, Matt Wells, Colorado Rapids, and Rydstrom, who I do like. He had a couple titles, and there's something about bringing Rydstrom, excuse me. Yeah. And then Mark Dos Santos taking over LA.
I've had some Jimmy. I had some battles with him back in the day in Sweden.
Oh yeah,
he was a captain.
Center back. He looks like a center back.
No, a 6.
He's okay. He might actually have that.
He's a shorter guy. He's not tall, but he was one of those guys that was just no nonsense, kick you, foul you, kick you. And, but he understood the game pretty well. So I'm not surprised that he went down the managerial route. He did well in Malmo in the Allsvenskan, and now he's getting an opportunity here in Columbus.
Okay. So which one of these 10, Big Tones, I'll start with you, do you think will have the biggest impact on the respective teams?
Yeah, I think Tata Martino. I'm not a huge fan of going back like a second time, but I think with the way things went with Atlanta United last year, the money that they spent, the fact that you would bring Tata back only leads me to believe that you're going to give Tata everything he needs to build a winner. So he's the one that sticks out the most for me. That will make sort of the biggest change. And part of that is just because they were pretty miserable last year, Atlanta United, in the way that they played, the way they went about their business. They never really hit a stride under Ronnie Deila early on. It just never got better throughout the season. So yeah, he's the one for me that sticks out.
Yeah, I wonder what you're going to say here, Chuck, but I'm leaning towards Marko Mitrovic. I just feel like he can get more out of that group in New England Revolution. Minnesota United obviously kind of did what they were going to do, and I'm curious how Cam Knowles tinkers a bit with that team, but they clearly have an identity kind of already in place, and that core of players kind of knows how to have success within that identity. Tata Martino's a good shout. Montreal has nowhere to go else go but up. Same with St. Louis, so maybe Dame and Donadell can figure that out. Michael Bradley's obviously very curious about that. Matty Wells and his experience coming in from Tottenham. Interesting. Riedstrom, again, he's taking over a Nancy team, so they kind of know how to play. Dos Santos, very similar, taking over for Cherundolo. But Mitrovic, for me, I feel like they've just got a nice core there that he can kind of reinvigorate. And so I think he's going to do the best out of these 10. But I know I say that, I'm leading you into that because you're obviously in the area and you cover the Revs and you understand what's happening there. Yeah. Do you agree with me or do you have another choice?
No, I agree with Tony, just because literally in the Supporter Shield standings, Atlanta finished 29th. So when you're coming in, and you have Almiron, you already have that relationship, and Latte Lat, who underperformed in my expectation, I guess with my expectations, and then Miranchuk is also another player who really didn't settle in and didn't deliver on what you would expect them to. So from that alone, having already the experience of winning an MLS Cup in Atlanta, which is a guarantee of he knows the league. Everywhere he's kind of gone, the team has competed. I mean, he won the Supporter Shield with Inter Miami. Obviously didn't take care of MLS Cup, but we're talking about a coach who gets the most out of his MLS club team. So for me, that's probably going to be the biggest turnaround, the biggest difference. But to your point, Jimmy, I have it circled. The Revs have Turner. The Revs have Carlosio. Dor Turgeman is a baller. We only got a small sample size, a little snapshot of what he can do, but I think he's going to turn some heads this year. I think Brooklyn Reigns is another player who goes under the radar coming to the Revs. He did well this past World Cup, Youth World Cup, and then Leo Campana, who really underperformed last season, and injuries came into the equation. So given you've got a real strong group, I think the Revs are going to be, if everyone stays healthy, of course, are going to be one of the top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference. So, yeah, there's some good bones with some of those clubs, and then a team like SKC, Rafa Vicky coming in, great experience, but SKC, their roster is poor.
They have like 12 players right now.
they don't have anybody.
I look at DC United, I go, oh, they just got Ty Baribo, and yeah, they signed another DP, but you're like, man, the bones are not great. SKC, the bones are not great. The structure, TFC, Mihailovic, you have Richie Leret. Maybe they bring in Josh Sargent, but not great. Yeah.
Okay. Are we concerned that there's only, of these 10 new coaches, only one of them is American? Tones, does that concern you as all? Because, I mean, not only do we want, I feel like MLS, I don't know.
Whoa, time out, though. Before you go even further, and I know where you're going with.
Yeah.
But Rafa Vicky played in the league.
He did.
And has coached youth national teams, right, for the U.S. Yohan Dame has been in the league for a while. He tried at Cincinnati. It didn't work out. And,
so he's been around the league. Dos Santos is the same.
But when you're saying foreigners coming in, managers with no experience, I think there's a little bit of a difference if you have had experience already.
But and Mitrovic was coaching our Olympic team. Yeah, I mean, we had all of them they have some DNA or some attachments or ties.
And he was with Chicago Fire for a long time as an assistant.
That's true. That's
true. Who are the only ones? Who are the only, like Matt Wells had
Riedstrom,
no experience, and that's it. Because Cam Newell's was already the interim manager there. Tata, we know Mitrovic has been around. Right. But I think this profile of coaches, Jimmy, is where the league is going. Right. I think when you look at the younger sort of, I don't know the word to use, more kind of up with the technology, all the sports science in the game. Like, clubs are really enamored by that. Tata Martino's probably the outlier here when it comes to that. Rafa Vicky, I was with for 3 years. He's kind of a hybrid of a little bit of that. Like, he uses the data to sort of support some of the things he's seeing on the field. I'm really interested in what they do in Kansas City, because the word was that they were going to spend some money this year. Hell, they haven't done it. They had to get a manager first. He's only been on and been announced here for like less than 2 weeks, it seems like. But But yeah, I think that's with regards to the manager. I think that's the way that this league is going. Bradley, the only, I suppose you can say, like, just true straight American, like everything's been American about him and national team and all of that. And they'll sprinkle them in. But you see, look around the league. I mean, this has been trending, but it's been cyclical for a couple of years, where it's been like a lot of American coaches, and then we're seeing more foreign coaches come in. I'm really interested in Charlie, you played there, like part of the country, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, like those managers around the world, and we're seeing them come to our league, are getting more and more opportunities, and we're seeing it now again.
Well, when you got a club like Bodo Glimt playing the way that they do, I
team to watch.
Yeah, you know, it's like if you can get a Scandinavian manager who excels,
punching above his weight,
yeah, exactly. Then, you know, I think just because one salary will be higher than what they get in Scandinavia, I think the cost of living, I also think just the way of life, it's a good experience to take, that it makes sense in a lot of ways if you get that opportunity to take the next step.
All right, so let's pivot now to some player moves that are happening in MLS. Which one do you think will be the most impactful player move so far? There's some. You have some options. You got Dane St. Clair, goalkeeper of the year, going from Minnesota.
Hey, let's just get to it. You don't have to. I don't want to hear a whole list of names moving. I'll give you.
Give me a name then. Give me a name.
Yep. And I'm sure maybe Tony's on the same
page. You want to say it together?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Christian Espinosa.
Christian Espinosa.
San Jose. I don't know what the hell is going on in San Jose. To hear that someone made a mistake of not picking up exercising his option or
okay. Wait, can I cut in really quick? From what I understand, because I live closest to the area,
go ahead.
Is that option needed to be picked up in the middle of the season, and somebody missed it. And thought and just assumed that it happened at the end of the season and just forgot. And so
mind blowing.
When that got found out, I assume some heads were rolled, and there are a name or two that have been fired since that got announced. And so I'll let everybody.
Yes, and absolutely should your best player that you have in the whole squad, you go, oh, he can just leave for free. But I think him going to Nashville,
man.
We're talking about adding
a
premier player with
Surridge.
You lose Schaffelberg gladly to bring in Espinosa, and then Andy Nohar was a great add to the roster last year. So
that front three is sick.
Mm-hmm.
Mukhtar, Surridge, and now Espinosa. Tones, do you feel like that puts them in the kind of upper echelon of contenders now for MLS? If you had to, we'll have a proper prediction and preview at some point, but.
Yeah, I think they struggled at the end of the year last year, right? They struggled to find their form. They went through, it was the Open Cup, right? They put so much into the Open Cup champions and all that stuff. I think they were like 10th or 11th, but that stretch at the end, it was I don't have it in front of me, but like an 11-game stretch where they had only won a couple games, 2 games maybe. I had in the last game of the year, the Inter Miami game, which they got pounded, in Nashville. I think it was 5-2 or 5-3. It was like a crazy game, but they struggled at the end. They just ran out of gas, and I just wonder how much the Open Cup run for them, the energy they put into that, then maybe a little bit of a hangover from that tournament. But this for me puts them in the contention in the Eastern Conference for sure. I don't think they're going to win the Eastern Conference, but I think their goal is going to be and should be, Jimmy, finishing in a top 4 spot and having a home field during the first part of the playoffs next year.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Okay, 2 other notes then before we let everybody go. One, Timo Werner might be coming to San Jose Earthquakes. How are we feeling about Timo Werner? They lost Joseph Martinez. They lost Christian Espinosa. Timo Werner felt like he was relevant 5 years ago. Now, I don't mind it. Maybe he plays for RB Leipzig right now in the Bundesliga, and I say plays loosely. I think he's played maybe 18 minutes this season. He got told in the summer that he's not part of their plans, and he hasn't even been used sparingly. He's just not really being used at all. But he's only 29 years old. He's won a Champions League. He was with Tottenham when they won the Europa League last season. He's got some quality in there, Chuck, as our resident number 9, and he'd have Chicho Arango to partner off with in San Jose. I mean, Bruce of anybody I could see revitalizing someone's career and getting the most out of him. But is he a nice fit for the league, for San Jose, for Bruce? What do you think?
He can be.
Yeah.
I mean, if Bruce is able to get the most out of him, and I feel like confidence has been a big issue with Timo Werner, because over the years, when he has had success, we've seen some brilliant goals, some different types of finishing, good runs. He's a constant threat, but we've seen over the past 3 years or so where there's been a huge decline in his production, a huge decline in his, I'd say, just in his form and his confidence. So what we all know now is that coaches can make a massive difference in a player's mindset and getting them comfortable and getting them back to being put in good positions. So, it has the potential to be a game-changing signing for the San Jose Earthquakes. 57
caps for Germany, so it's not like he comes in as an unknown quantity. And what I love is that there's a real signal of intent. Like this is what you want to see from your club. Well, it might not work out, but hey, at least we're giving it a shot. Some clubs at times they wait years to make these types of moves, and it's nice to see that Bruce tried to make something happen last year with Joseph and these other names. Okay, maybe didn't unlock the way that he wanted. Let's go get Timo Werner, right? So there's some real energy that I'm liking here from the Quakes overall. But let's talk about Inter Miami really quick before we send everybody on their way, Big Tones, because Rodrigo de Paul has been acquired for they paid the $17 million to get him from Atletico Madrid. He's now a full DP. They got Allende, who's obviously a hero for them throughout the season, scored some big goals, including in the playoffs. He's now coming from Celta Vigo. And now they got Dane St. Clair. There's rumors that Tristan Blackman is holding out in Vancouver, potentially.
Do you think it gets done? Do you think he moves?
I mean, it would be pretty crazy if that was the case, in terms of them like loading up in really key areas of the field for them to really be able to compete in multiple competitions. I mean, they're building a super club, and
when they just brought in Mikael
as well, who played for the Dynamo for a couple of years, so he's got some MLS experience and is a solid defender. So they're loading up and figuring out a way to navigate the high seas of MLS rules in particular. But I actually don't mind. In some ways, I think it might be good for the league to have like a super team, just because it's one of those Yankees type thing, right? You either love them or you hate them. And because there's so much parity all the time, I don't know if we can ever really create that loved or hated team, as much as I think Inter Miami is doing a really good job of that right now.
Yeah. We interviewed the owner, Jorge Mas, immediately after the finals while I was down there. And his first comment was, we're going to build a team as much as they will let us. His quote was, we want to win champions. He was talking obviously about CONCACAF Champions League,
Cup,
CONCACAF Champions Cup. Yeah. And he's going to do everything possible to be the best team he can be in the region. I mean, he's made that clear. The young kid Silvetti, trying to keep him. The Paul one, I think we all kind of knew, right? That was coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Now bringing Dane St. Clair could be a game changer for them. Rios Novos did a really good job filling in for Ustari at the end of the season. Super wins them an MLS Cup. Big moments during the playoffs. But Dane St. Clair will take them to a little bit of a different level. Remember, Ayala comes in from Portland Timbers, although he was hurt last year. A guy that up there in Portland, they really, really like. I don't know how they pulled that deal off, but I guess we could say that we don't know how they're pulling a lot of these deals off, right? So do what
it's a
you
shell
do.
Game, I think it's a shell game. Yeah, where's the ball?
What I do like, if you do like about the Mas brothers, is they're pushing the envelope, man. They're gonna have this beautiful.
That stadium.
Times
it's gonna be sick.
Tones, how nice is it from the outside?
Oh my God, it's sick from the outside, and we've only seen it from the outside, so I imagine the inside is going to be like a Taj Mahal type of stadiums, right? I like the fact that Jorge Mas, Arthur Hank, like there's guys in the league now that are like pushing the envelope. Let's go, man. Let's take the training wheels off.
Let's go.
The thing about Jorge Mas coming in is he never was here when the training wheels were on, so he doesn't know that part of the league. He came in to say, I'm going to spend money and I'm going to build it my way. It might not work in the end. It didn't work for a little while, right? He finally is getting it to work. And now, how much does that push other owners to go with the change? To the calendar in a year. There's no more excuses. The teams that said, "Oh no, we can't get guys because our big transfer window's in the winter." Now you're going to be on the same calendar, man. There's no more excuses. So he's pushed the envelope.
Take off the training wheels. That's the energy we are going to end the show with. I absolutely love it. It's time to grow up and take off those training wheels. We can ride a bike without them, all right? That's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Another shout out once again to Ben-Ha Cremaschi for coming on and spending some time with us. That was absolutely awesome. All right, that's it. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you on the other side of it. Later.